How to prevent a beefy or unpleasant smelling tallow. Now, if there's one thing I receive comments about, it's the smell of my tallow. Specifically from people who've tried to give tallow a shot but couldn't see past the smell. My products are not superior. My product is what I'm happy with, and it's what I'm proud to present to anyone who supports my small business. With that being said, to me, tallow making and rendering is a craft. I take my techniques and processes very seriously because I pride myself on the quality and comfort of the product. So here's everything I do that always leads me to a great smelling product. Number 1, I always exclusively only render grass-fed beef suet. Not only is it the cleanest, has less odor, and is most nutrient dense, but it also a lot easier to work with. Beef suet is a fat from around the kidneys and loins. It is a very crumbly, dense, high volume fat as opposed to trimmings, which come from leftover bits of meat, connective tissue that's trimmed off from the preparation process of cuts. This fat can be very gummy and typically has a stronger odor even in its raw state. Number 2, before ever starting any render, cutting, or grinding of fat, I prepare my suet in the following ways: by removing all of the red meat, elasticy membrane, and basically anything that is not pure fat. The reasoning behind this is if we start out our renders with these impurities in them, these bits don't yield out fat or liquid. Instead of yielding, they cook, fry, or burn in hot tallow liquid. This in turn causes a very unpleasant odor that once produced is very difficult to get rid of. So we prevent it from the beginning. We don't even give it a chance. Number 3, all of that clean fat I grind in a meat grinder. It helps by allowing the least amount of time in render to yield out as fast as possible. It also gives us the highest yield, meaning it produces more tallow liquid, because if you think about it, the bigger the chunks in the yield, the faster they harden. Meaning, if you have a chunk of fat, the first part to render out is the outer layer because it has access to that heat first as opposed to the inner layer of the chunk. Once that outer layer has juiced out all of the liquid it's going to yield out, it hardens. Once it hardens, it doesn't allow that inner layer to yield out. But that's besides the point of this video. Once this outer layer is hardened, it begins to cook, fry, or burn in the hot liquid, and that produces an unpleasant smell. Remember, once the smell is created, it's very difficult to get out. That's why the title of this video is how to prevent a beefy smell and not how to get rid of a beefy smell. Number 4, I wet render, and I only wet render during the first render. This helps the water sit at the bottom while the fat melts, meaning there is minimal contact with the raw fat to the hot pan to prevent from burning or frying the fat. This also helps drive out impurities faster, and the faster we get rid of those impurities during the rendering process, the less chance we have of producing a strong smell. Number 5, stir, stir, stir. Very often, again, to not allow any pieces to sit in direct contact with the direct heat for too long, because remember, frying or burning produces a strong smell. Number 6, keep an eye on your fat in that first